Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So over the week, I posted something on my Instagram page. And if you're not following me on Instagram, go follow me as soon as this video is over at Marcus R Films. And in my stories, I made a post asking the questions of like, what do you guys want me to actually talk about? I think that's the hardest thing on YouTube, is trying to find topics. But for me, I'm really revamping my page. I haven't posted consistently over the last 5 years, and now I'm trying to make that effort to at least post a video or two per week. Nothing crazy, but I want to try to get my posting muscles, developed. So I asked a question, and one of the most repeated responses to that question was how to get clients. And I want to talk a little bit about that because there's a lot to unfold as it relates to that question. One of the things I really wanted to address is that sometimes I believe Instagram, or just social media in general, makes people believe that you're working consecutively, like every day, every hour of the day. And in my situation, that's not the case. I am not working every day. I'm working towards something every day, but every day I don't have client work to do. And that's just the state of where I am and where my business is and where I am as a freelancer. It's just some days or some months are better than others. Some weeks are better than other weeks. So there's a lot of downtime that I'm experiencing in 2024 that trickled over from 2023. As we all know, 2023 was a very, very sketchy year for video production. And if you've made it through that year, you're blessed. I made it by the skin of my teeth. And yeah, this year has been better, definitely better, but it's been tough. So I believe sometimes when, and I can only talk about myself, I believe that sometimes if I post something that is work related, it puts the impression that I'm constantly busy with work, constantly doing client projects, constantly bringing in the money, and that's just not the case. Like a lot of the times where I'm posting, it's because I'm able to get a lot of content from an actual client shoot, or from a shoot that's mine personally, or if I'm doing I guess you can call it client work. If I'm doing something for a brand, we do a lot of content creating and content collection from that actual shoot. And if you spread that out throughout your calendar month, it can definitely bring the impression that that creator, including myself, is constantly busy with client work. And I can honestly say, being fully transparent, that that's not the case. So with that being said, let me bring it back some. My family, we moved here to Houston, Texas about 4.5 years ago. And that was a journey. And it was a very difficult journey because I was leaving what was familiar to me back in the East Coast and coming here to a city where we knew nobody. We knew absolutely no one here. So I had to start everything all over. A new business name, business strategy, business connections, all of that stuff. I had to start from scratch. And 4.5 years later, I'm in a way better place. And I want to talk to you guys about how I did that, how I was able to obtain clientele, how I'm getting clients now, and maybe what I'm doing, you can find something that works for you in your situation. The first thing I did when I got here was I straight up hit everyone's DM. I went straight down the line of everything that I could possibly shoot. I mean, everything. Music videos, restaurants, food. I worked a lot with churches back home and nonprofit agencies. So I was trying to figure out if I could find people that needed that type of work. And I just sent DMs out, just DM. And what I wanted to do was try to figure out if there was a way that I could possibly come into their organization, do something free, and see if that can kind of spark a conversation for future work. I know I don't recommend it to everybody, but that's what I did. And I came into several businesses that were lounge type businesses here in Houston, and I created content for them. They thought it was some of the best content that they ever that they ever received. So that ended up starting conversations, and it ended up me doing work for them on a monthly basis. And I probably did that type of work for the first year and a half of us being here in Houston, and it helped tremendously. I also did some work for one of the churches here in Houston as a content creator, producer for their organization, and again, that helped pay bills. How I found that? There was someone here that lived in Houston that actually used to live in our old hometown that we didn't really know lived here, and they saw on Facebook that we moved here, and they were already working at the church. They saw on Facebook that we moved here. They were already associated with the church. They pulled some strings, and then I had an interview, and the rest is history. I was working for the church as a part-time content creator, but I really charge a lot to just being relentless in the DMs and the emails to people that I just didn't know. And that was my introduction to like cold calling or cold emailing or cold DMing people. I didn't like it. I didn't like the fact that I had to do it, but I did it. Fast forward, I needed to do a couple things, and this is my advice. This is where the advice part comes in. I had to establish one very important thing. During the time where I was doing all these DMs and I was DMing people and emailing people, and I would say, hey, I got a camera, I'll shoot anything. It was extremely overwhelming, and it was extremely frustrating because I had several different types of clients that I was dealing with. And each thing was something that was totally different than the other thing, and it just made for a lot of frustrations in post because I had to edit this stuff as well as shoot this stuff, and I don't know, nothing was consistent about too much of any of it, and I found myself like really, hating the work that I was doing, and that wasn't good. So. But I still did it. I did it because I needed the bills to be paid, but it just wasn't a good look. I had to do one thing. I had to figure out what it was that I really wanted to focus my career on. And that was a very difficult choice because prior to that, I was shooting everything. I loved video. I loved shooting stuff. I loved the freedom that I had as a creative to not be like tied down or bogged down to a niche. But I was learning that I needed to do that for my own sanity, and it just helped. And I looked at the things that I love to do the most, and the things that I was extremely good at, which was just storytelling. And I wanted to help people tell their stories and tell their truth. That helped me eliminate certain things and certain services that I was offering. I stopped shooting at lounges. I stopped shooting at restaurants. I stopped shooting certain type of entrepreneurial content, and I moved more so towards the corporate arena, interviews, and documentary. And because I was able to fine tune it, my next stage was to create a website, and that website started to generate traffic. And I'm gonna tell you why. It's because I had a ton of SEO rich words that were searchable by these companies that were looking for Houston-based corporate videographers, Houston-based filmmakers, Houston-based directors of photography. I was able to put all of these keywords into my website and really show images and video of that type of work through my production reel. And it helped tremendously. I was getting a lot of hits on my website and the contact me section, and that's where a lot of things started changing for me. Other companies and agencies, even from the UK, they were finding me on Google searches, and then they will go to my website, and then they'll reach out to me that way. So having that website and having I would say the strength, to just say, you know what, as much as I love to do the other stuff, I need to really niche down, not to one particular area, but more than what I was doing, and shoot less and focus on my strengths. And that really helped me out. Another way that helped out is just with the gear. Like I was buying everything. Anytime something dropped, I thought I needed to have it because I was just shooting all over the place. And the second I niched down, I was able to say, all right, well, I think the stuff that I need to have and obtain or for my job now is minimal. Like I don't need, the latest and greatest whatever. So like I just need what I need to shoot my interviews, which is, a good lighting kit, 1 to 2 good cameras, a good, 2 sets of sticks and decent audio, and that helps me out tremendously. Now being in Houston, I have a team and I got the people I could call on to help me out with these projects. So I don't need to necessarily bring all of this stuff. But when I do have smaller budgets that require like a one-man band thing, which I do a lot of times, and I'm not ashamed to say that, at least I know now I have a kit that's strong and can help me get the job done, and they can help me produce images and work that constantly keep these people calling me back. And one other thing that I wanted to share, I have an account on Production Hub. Now, this is not any type of sponsored ad or sponsored video by Production Hub. I pay for a higher tier that will like list me on their homepage and stuff like that. And it's like some would say, well, that's a little pricey. I say it's like the cost of doing business. Like if you have a business and this is an LLC and it's not a side hustle, then you have to pay expenses like marketing expenses. And to me, this is part of that type of expense. So I will allocate some funds for marketing, and that's one of them. And I just paid a monthly fee, and I get quite a bit of hits from Production Hub. And here's another thing about Production Hub. It's not just about clients that need your services. Other production companies that can't get to Houston, they end up reaching out to me through Production Hub and saying like, hey, Marcus, we see you're out there in Houston. Can you galvanize a team for this particular project? It basically will cost us way more to fly in, hotel up everybody or Airbnb everybody, shoot it, and then fly back to Cali or fly back to Florida or New York. I'm already here. So other production companies reach out to me because I'm active on Production Hub. And guess where they go after Production Hub? They go right to my website. So, those are the ways that I get clients. And of course, do good work. Have follow-ups, create a database where you can leave all those client names in there, where you can reach out, 2 or 3 months later, check in on them, seeing, if they need anything, or offer a referral program where those clients can refer you to somewhere else. And then you give that client a discount or something like that for the referral. There's tons of ways that you can get clients for your services. But it helps when you have a niche that you can really push. And not just for the reasons that I just explained, but even like for the algorithm. It's just hard. Like if you had a YouTube video or YouTube channel, like I'm trying to push my YouTube channel, and I was all over the place with my content, how would the algorithm know where to push me? Like if I was a filmmaker, I sold flowers on the corner, I was a sorcerer, or in the hair, in like a barber, like where would it know where to send my content? Niching down to a certain category as a filmmaker, it now knows where to push my content. It's the same thing. Like the second you figure out, and I'm gonna stop saying you, the second I figured out what I wanted to do, it was easier for the algorithms to send my content to certain places. Even here, like even on Instagram, because I am listed as a filmmaker, all my content's filmmaking related, people find me on Instagram. I've gotten jobs from Instagram, not a lot, but I've gotten work from Instagram too. And I'll probably contribute that to the type of content I post. So with that being said, I didn't want to ramble any longer. This is my answer to that question in my Instagram on how I found clients. Hopefully that helps you out. I'm not going to pretend to be a client finding guru. I am not. I'm still on the hunt for specific clients, and we can just ride this journey together. I share with you, you share with me, and we all win. So as always, I hope you enjoyed this conversation. If you like this, please hit the subscribe button and follow me, follow the channel. Go to my Instagram at Marcus R Films, follow that. And as always, if you love the content, please remember to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for the notifications for when I drop my next video, and always remember, you matter. Peace.